All right, today we're going to dive into a creation story, but probably not one you've heard before. This isn't about a big empty void. Nope. It's about a restless ocean of pure potential. We're exploring this profound new narrative of the universe from a piece by L. F. Yada, one that completely reimagines the cosmos from the quantum level all the way up. So yeah, let's get into it. And this right here, this single sentence, is basically the whole roadmap for our journey today. It's not just a poetic title. Every single part of it, the quantum ground, God's shadow, the fire, the dream, it's like a chapter in a totally new Genesis story, one trying to blend our deepest physics with our biggest questions. So let's break it down. So that's the big question we've got to ask, right? Is this all just beautiful metaphor? Or could it actually be a genuine framework, a new map for understanding our own existence? For this explainer, let's treat it like a map and just see where it takes us. And we're going to start before the beginning.
Okay, so our story begins at the real beginning. We're talking before galaxies, before stars, even before space had distance or time had a beat. We're going right to the foundation of, well, of everything.
This foundational state is called the quantum realm. And it's so important to get this. This is not emptiness, not even close. Think of it more like this super energetic, dynamic ocean of pure possibility, where literally everything that could be already exists in this kind of probabilistic soup. So what's it like? I mean, how do you even picture it? Well, imagine these virtual particles just flickering in and out of being, like cosmic static. Picture waves of pure probability stretching across, well, what isn't even space yet. And the craziest part? Entanglement. This deep, fundamental connection that binds everything to everything else, instantly, no matter the distance.
The Source has this amazing phrase for it, God unspoken. It's this idea of a fundamental consciousness, maybe a being, that existed before the universe took on the structure, the geometry, that we can measure and observe. It's just pure, unexpressed potential. And that gets us to the absolute core rule of this whole thing, entanglement. Now, this totally flips our normal way of thinking on its head. See, we think of objects first, right? Like here's a thing, and here's another thing, and then we think about the relationship between them. This view says, nope, you've got it backwards. The relationship, the connection, comes first. It's more fundamental than the objects themselves. This deep, unbreakable unity, that's what the Source calls the first face of God.
Okay, so if we start with this unified ocean of potential, how in the world do you get from that to a universe full of stars and galaxies and all the stuff we see? How does it all take shape?
Well, this framework lays out this incredible chain reaction, like cosmic dominoes falling one after the other. First, that web of quantum entanglement actually weaves the fabric of geometry itself. Then that geometry unfolds and boom, you get the dimensions we call spacetime. Mass, which is born from all this, starts to curve that spacetime, and that's what we feel as gravity. And gravity, well, you know what it does. It's the master sculptor, pulling matter together to light up the stars. It's just this beautiful, logical cascade.
I just love this metaphor. It really helps you see that the universe we live in, space-time, isn't the fundamental thing itself. It's more like a visible pattern woven from all those invisible quantum threads. We're seeing the effect, not the cause. We're seeing the garment, not the weaver. And in this cosmology, stars aren't just giant balls of hot gas. No way. They are the universe's creative engines. Think about it. They take the simplest element, hydrogen, and they forge it into complex things. The carbon, the oxygen, the iron, everything you need for planets and, yep, for us. They're God's imagination going to work, seeding the cosmos with new possibilities. All right, so the stage is set. The universe is now filled with all the right ingredients for life. So what's next? Well, now comes the Great Awakening, the moment when the cosmos itself starts to stir. And this is where, for me, it gets really wild. The idea isn't that life is some miracle that happened on top of physics. It's an expression of it. Get this. Plants use something called quantum coherence, where particles can basically be in multiple places at once. to find the absolute most efficient path for sunlight. Our own enzymes use quantum tunneling to speed up essential chemical reactions. Life, it turns out, has been using quantum tricks from the very beginning. So you see the shift in perspective here, right? In this view, life isn't some cosmic accident, a random fluke. It's a natural, maybe even an inevitable, unfolding of the universe's own inherent potential. It's the cosmos expressing its complexity, and we just happen to call that biology. So we've gone from matter to life, and now, for the final, truly mind-bending step in this cosmic story, the emergence of consciousness. This is just a huge idea. The moment a mind shows up, a mind that can look up at the stars and wonder what they are, that's the universe itself becoming self-aware. That foundational quantum realm, that God unspoken, is finally looking out through a pair of eyes and seeing the grand, magnificent thing it's become. And this really brings it all home. Think about that feeling you get when you look up at a clear night sky. That deep, existential question, why? According to this story, that's not just your question. That is the cosmos itself, awakening within you and asking about its own nature. So let's try to wrap this all up in a neat little package, what's called the quantum trinity. You've got the quantum realm, which is God's essence, the ground of all possibility. Then you have space-time, which is God's garment, the visible geometry woven from it. And finally, you have life and mind. That's God's awakening, awareness blooming right inside the fabric of reality. 3 faces, 1 interconnected whole. You see, what this all points to is a massive shift in how we see things. Our normal view is that reality is made of separate little objects existing inside a big container called space-time. This framework argues the complete opposite, that web of connection is the true reality, and space-time itself is just something that emerges from that web. And that brings us to the narrative climax, the grand finale. This is the rewritten Genesis. It's not in the beginning was space-time, it's in the beginning was entanglement. The fundamental principle of the universe wasn't separation, it was unity. What a powerful conclusion to the whole idea. So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. If this story is a kind of map, and if we are the point on that map where the universe becomes self-aware, what does that imply about us? What's our potential? What is the next step for a cosmos that has finally opened its eyes? That's something to think about.